Good afternoon. Afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Please, can I get a thumbs up if you can hear me? Awesome. Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. We're just going to wait another 5 minutes so that everyone can join us. While we're waiting, I would love to just get to know who's in the room. So in the chat, you're welcome to type your name, your what grade you teach, and what subjects you teach. Hey, awesome. I see some are here from yesterday. Thank you very much for coming again. I am sure you're going to enjoy the session. It's lovely to see we've got occupational therapists, we've got teachers. If you're from the district or the department, you can also let us know. If today is your first time attending and you weren't able to attend yesterday, then you can also let us know. All right. Yesterday we didn't have the link for the certificates, but we did email them through today. If you haven't received yours, please, the link that I'm sending now is the register for yesterday's session. So please, it's not for today's session, it's for yesterday's session. So if you did not claim your certificate as yet, the link is in the chat. You're welcome to use that link for yesterday's session. For today's session, I'll send it to you a little later. We do have it. All right, let's get started. I think the majority of those that did register are here. So welcome everyone. It's lovely to have you here this afternoon. Thank you very much for those that attended yesterday. And if today is your first time and you did not attend yesterday, then I hope you're going to also enjoy this session. For today, we're going to be looking at Canva Teacher Essentials, and we are going to be focusing on Canva AI in the classroom. So for those who weren't here yesterday, my name is Petrina. I am a trainer at Zibuza, and I wear other hats like many of you, a mom, a daughter, a wife, but I also come from the educational sector. I taught grade 4 to 6 English home language for 15 years. And now I am teaching a different audience where I train teachers on how to apply EdTech tools such as Canva within the classroom. So today we're going to be looking at what is Canva. We're going to discuss Canva AI. We're also going to have a look at how to prompt correctly within Canva. And then we're going to play around with Canva AI. And I'm going to show you different resources that you can create using Canva and Canva AI. Can I just get in the chat, if you can tell me, have you used AI before? Yes, no. It would be lovely to see who has played around with AI to create different teaching resources already, or who has not had anything yet to do with AI. Okay, awesome. I see lots of yeses. Okay, perfect. Right, just to talk a little bit about Canva and the demand of Canva in the classroom. 120 million students and teachers are using Canva monthly. There's 1.5 billion designs that have been created by the educator community that can be accessed from Canva in the form of different templates. We have 190 countries that are using Canva for education. We have 9,000 school systems that are using Canva for education, and we have 700,000 schools across the globe that are using Canva for education. Now, why do we encourage teachers to use these different tools? Well, if you look at the students in your classroom, they are growing up in a world that is far different to us. They're growing up with EdTech. You have your different EdTech YouTube channels that they're growing up with. They have access to social media and instant feedback. So we can see that their life looks very different to the life we grew up in the classroom that we are familiar with. Now, what is Canva for education, or what is Canva in general? It's described as an all-in-one communication platform, which enables you to create beautiful and engaging designs with ease. And you can use templates or you can create from scratch. Now, I like to refer to Canva as a teacher's assistant. And if you were in yesterday's session, you would have seen how Canva can be like your teacher's assistant. If you have not signed up for Canva yet, we do encourage you to do so. There is a free teacher's account. All you need to do is sign in with your email address and upload your SAY certificate. As a teacher, you can get your own personal Canva account that way, or you can sign in through your school, and often the school will have a school account that is set up like with their domain, and you can then sign in with teacher at happyschool.co.za, for example. So there's different ways of signing up. You can sign up as an individual teacher, or you can get your entire school signed up. We do encourage the entire school to sign up because it does allow for different safety features that as an administrator of the account, you can give perhaps the teachers accessibility to the AI and turn it off for the students. So if you are a principal attending here today, or even a teacher and your school hasn't signed up for Canva for Education, you are welcome to also do that. There are also processes in place where we are trying to do it through the department, and that will roll out in the next coming months. So that is just our introduction to Canva. Now we get to the fun and the exciting part. So I see many have used AI before. Some haven't, but I see the majority of the comments in the chat tell me that many have used AI before to help with different teaching resources. Now, you will know that when you are working with AI, in order to get a very good outcome, your prompt needs to be good. Now, there's different frameworks of how you can prompt AI. If you just say create a worksheet, then chances are the outputs will not be what you want because you haven't instructed it who you are, what subject you teach, what grade you teach, what the topic of the worksheet should be. So if you just say create a worksheet, the AI will basically go to the web and to the data it's collected and just generate any worksheet for you. However, if you use a framework and you give it detail, it will be able to give you an outcome that is what you want and what you need. So there's different frameworks. These two that you can see on the screen, Rice and Richer, are the two frameworks that I love working with. So I just thought for the session, we can go through it and I can give you both of them as an example, and then you can choose which one you want. Or if you have a framework that you already work with, continue with using that framework. But RICE stands for the role. So first you need to tell Canva who it should act as. So act as a social media strategist, act as a grade 5 history teacher that teaches CAPS, act as whoever you wanted to act as a marketer for the school's fundraising event. First, you tell it who the AI should be in that role. Then the intent, what do you want it to create? So what are you expecting from the AI? Create a LinkedIn carousel, generate a worksheet, design an Instagram post, create a picture for my worksheet. Okay, then you give it the context. So now you're going to give it a bit of background information. So who is your audience? Is it your grade 5 students? You're going to give it some context and background that you want it to take note of. Okay, then any constraints. So for example, you have to stick to the CAPS curriculum or the IEB curriculum. Use British English. Your lesson is 30 minutes long. Those are all types of constraints that you can tell Canva AI. And then you give it any examples. So examples, for example, follow Canva education look, or different styles that you want it to be, maybe in a friendly tone. References, you can even then say to it, reference this. That's how you lay your framework out with Rice. Or Richer. Richer is very similar, but it's more education aligned. So first you tell it your role. Okay, so act as a grade 5 CAPS teacher. Then you tell it your intent again. You tell it your context. But then instead of the constraints, we're going to add how. So how should it be done and what style do you want it in? So should it be a friendly tone, a professional tone, modern and clean? Do you want it to include little images that are in a cartoon style? That's all what you will put under the how. And then examples, you can give it different examples. You can upload your previous resources. You can copy a URL from a different website and put it in as well, so that it has another website to reference. And then you can add in the rules and the limitations, which is basically similar to your constraints, where you're going to tell it 30 minutes or so many words, for example. Right, so that is how you can talk to the AI, have a conversation with the AI. Your AI you can treat as your assistant. So if you had a teacher's assistant in your class, you wouldn't just go to them and say, I want you to create a worksheet. You would give your teacher's assistant as much information so that they are equipped with being able to create this worksheet for you. And obviously, the more detail you give them, the better the outcome. And it's the exact same with AI. So let us have a look at how we can then work with Canvas AI to create different resources. So we're going to start off with a lesson plan. Now, there's different ways of creating lesson plans within Canva, within the and with working with AI. So first, I'm going to show you one method, and then I'll show you another method. So just to help with time, I have already written out a prompt, but you can also go to your documents. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this little block out the way. So you can go to a Canva document. So when you log into Canva, you have your dashboard, and then you can select doc. Now, when you're in your document, you can go to Magic Write. Do you see there where it says Magic Write? Now, if you select Magic Write, this is where you can now prompt it and describe what you want it to do. So I'm going to paste in my prompt there. I'm going to paste the prompt in the chat as well so that you have access to it. If you want to adapt it on your side, if you are playing around with Canva on your side, you're welcome to adapt it for your subject as well. So I've created this for a maths lesson for grade 7. So I've said to it, create a detailed caps-aligned maths lesson for grade 7, focusing on whole numbers and mental calculations. The lesson should revise grade 6 concepts and be suitable for a 30-minute classroom lesson. So if you're a maths teacher, you will recognize that this is the first term 1, week 1's work, right? Then I've told it exactly what sections I want in my lesson plan. I want it to have a lesson title, a grade and subject. I've told it the time of the lesson, the objectives. I want a heading called Key Concepts, Prior Knowledge, Teaching Resources, Step-by-Step Lesson Activities, Mental Math Strategies, Assessment Opportunities. I even wanted to have a differentiation activity or support section. I wanted to have homework or follow-up activities. So those are my headings and how I want my lesson plan to be laid out. Then I've copied, I said the content to be revised must include, and all I have done is I've copied this from the CAPS curriculum. All right, there we go, this entire section. I've copied it from the CAPS curriculum and pasted it straight into my prompt. And then you can say, present the lesson plan in a neat, professional layout that is easy for teachers to follow and visually suitable for Canva templates. And now I'm going to generate this. And you'll notice that my AI or my Magic Write is creating this lesson plan for me. Now you'll notice there it's created it. It's got the heading, grade, the duration, lesson objectives, key concepts, prior knowledge, teaching resources, lesson activities, mental math strategies. It's included all those different sections. Now, if I wanted to make changes, I could say more like this, okay, or this but. This but means I can then add in my changes. But let's say, for example, I like this, I'm happy with it, then I just say insert. And now it will insert this into a beautiful template that I am then able to use. As a school, we know that some schools want a very particular layout of how your lesson plans are set. And if you click on the header that it creates, you are then able to change and make adjustments to this header. I'm just going to wait for it to open. It's just taking some time. I'm going to just turn my camera off. Apologies for that. I just want to see if it helps with my internet. Okay, there we go. So now you can see it's opening up. And you have the ability now to make any changes. So you can choose a different template as well, or you can design your own, where if you've set up your brand kit, like we looked at yesterday, then if you have set up your brand kit, then you are able to then insert your school's badge or your logo, and you can set it out in a layout that the school prefers. So let's say, for example, we delete all of this and we go to our brand kit and we choose a logo that suits us or our school badge. Okay, there we go. Let's choose, let's say, for example, this is our school badge. And then we want to choose a color that's within our brand kit. We will then choose maybe this color. Okay, and then if you want to add any text, you can choose text. And then you will be able to set this header out in the layout that your school requires. So let's say happy school. Okay, let's say that's my school's name. And however else they require you to lay it out, that can all be edited in this header. And then if you save it, it will just apply to your lesson plan. So that is one way of creating a lesson plan. I'm going to go back and just make sure that I've got this prompt copied. And then I'm going to show you a second way of how you can create a lesson plan. The second way is when you go to your home page and you'll notice there's a More button and Canva AI. If your Canva AI button is sitting on the top left-hand corner where My Create is, that means you've got Canva AI 2.0 which is the latest version of Canva AI. You'll see I don't have it yet. And it is being rolled out in the next couple of weeks or months. Sorry, let me say months. We should all have Canva AI in the next couple of months. So now under what will we design today, you are going to paste in your prompt or type your prompt. Another great way is if you are feeling a bit tired in the afternoon and you've got to create a lesson plan and you don't feel like typing, you can always press the chat using voice, and then you'll need to allow your mic, and then as you're talking, your mic will pick up what you're saying and it will use that to create whatever resource or lesson plan you want to create. Okay, so there we go. You see it picked up exactly what I said, just to demonstrate to you what it can do. But I'm going to paste in the same prompt that I used earlier in my document using my Magic Write. Now I'm just doing it straight within Canva AI. And now I'm going to choose Doc because I want this in the form of a document. And then I'm going to select Type. There isn't a lesson plan here, so I'm going to just leave that for now. And then I'm going to select Submit. And now all that will happen is Canva AI will now then create this document for me. Very similar to the way the Magic Write laid it out. The same method, the same look, except there's just two different ways that you can choose to write or create your lesson plans. Okay, so there's my lesson plan. I can now make any changes that I want to as a teacher. I can go and remove certain lesson objectives. I can go and edit some of the activities, or if I want to redo this altogether or give it a different instruction, then under Ask Me Anything, I can then prompt it and say, I like this, but I need 10 sums. So let's try that. I like this, but for the activity, I need 10 sums. Let's be more specific and say for the independent activity, I need 10 sums. And then I'm also very tired as a teacher, so I want a memo as well. Please also provide the answers. Okay. And then you submit it. Let's see if it followed the instruction. So there is my independent activity. There is the 10 questions now as well as the answers. So it applied the changes that I needed. Now, if I'm happy with this, I select Use Canva Editor. And there is my fancy header. But you also can make the changes. So for example, if you need to insert your school's badge, you can just create a space and then you can go to your brand and you can go to your logo and then you insert your school's badge. It will insert it in the center. You can then resize it. And it's just a little more difficult to to align, but you can select these align buttons and it will jump either to the center, the right, or the left. Okay. So you can just see that this layout is slightly different to if we went to a document and we created the lesson plan with our magic right. Okay, do you think that that can help you when it comes to creating lesson plans? Okay, I see some thumbs going up. Lovely. Very nice. Okay. With regards to recording in different languages, I personally haven't tried it, but you are able to even change the language of your Canva. So I'm going to show you how to do that. If you go to your home page and you go to your initials in the bottom left-hand corner and you select settings, then you will be able to change the language from English into other languages like your Afrikaans. I just want to check this. Uh, I don't see Zulu for now, but you can go and have a look at if the other South African languages are here. So this is how you can change it, but then it changes your entire canvas. So even your profile, accounts, and security will be viewed in that different language. So you can try then to create a lesson plan in another language. If you would like to try, and you can even let me know, then I can learn something from you in this session. Okay, so let us continue then we've done our lesson plans. I'm going to show you how you can now create a presentation. So again, to help with time, I've created the prompt for us. So I'm going to type it and send it to you in the chat. And you'll see that this prompt is quite detailed. Okay. Now, you might also ask, but I know the framework. I know I need to put a lot of detail into my prompts, but I just don't have time to sit and write such a long prompt. All that you need to do is you can also go to a document. Let's go to a new document. Okay. And then you can say, I need magic write. I need a prompt to create a PowerPoint in or for maths grade 7 CAPS curriculum. And then you can copy and paste any information that you need from the CAPS document. And then if you send this, it will come up with a structure of a PowerPoint. And you can say more like this. Okay, and then it will give you some information that you can then copy and paste when you are creating your PowerPoint. Alternatively, you can also use other AI platforms and instruct it to write a more detailed prompt. But I'm going to use the prompt that I've already created, and we're going to now go and create a presentation. So we're going to go to our home page and we're going to go to our Canva AI. So on the left-hand side, we're going to select more, and then Canva AI. I'm going to deselect doc, and I'm going to paste in my prompt. So just to talk you through the prompt, I've told it I need a mathematics lesson for grade 7 learners. I've told it how long the lesson must be, and I've actually even told it what should be on each slide. All right. I've copied and pasted also directly from the CAPS curriculum, and there is my 15 slides. Now, all I need to do is select design, presentation. I need to choose my audience, which would be educational. The style, you can choose if you want it to be minimalist, playful, organic. I'm going to choose playful because it's for grade 7. And then for length, I'm going to choose balanced, 5 to 15 pages. And I'm going to send it to the AI. And now it's going to generate this presentation for me. Right, you'll notice it's first generating a the word is disappeared from our vocabulary, an outline. It's first generating an outline. So now I can go and see what is going to be on my first slide. I'm going to have a title, I'm going to have a subtitle, I'm going to have the grade. It's going to have a colorful background with math symbols or playful geometric shapes. Then the next slide will be my lesson objectives, and I can go and read exactly what it's going to put on each of the slides. As a teacher, before it even gets generated, I am able then to go and make changes. So let's say, for example, I want to add in an example here. I'm able to select edit, and I can add in an example. I'm just going to do something random. Let's do 3 times 5 equals select my slide. And there we go. If I'm happy with it, I select generate design, and it now will create the actual presentation that I can then teach from. If you are creating a PowerPoint on your side, I'd love to see it. So if you can take a screenshot, maybe just of the front page, and send me a picture in the chat, it would be lovely to see if there are any teachers that are currently creating a presentation on their side as well. All right, so there we go. It's created the presentation for me. I can then just hover my mouse over it and see what it has created. If I want to open it up, I just click on the presentation and it will open up on the side panel where I can scroll through all the slides. And if I want to make changes and work with the presentation, I select Use Canva Editor. Okay. There we go. So now I have the ability to change and make changes to the design. If I don't like these elements, I can just select it and delete it. Just get my keyboard here. So I can select any of these elements and delete them. I can click on elements and go and have a look and type in math, and it will bring up different graphics and images that relate to math, and then I can go and choose other elements that I want to perhaps insert into my presentation. If I feel the background is too busy, I can just go and edit the background. So you can remove it, all the elements, and you can change the color if you want it to be a different color. That looks a bit difficult to read, so let's leave it as white. And you get the idea of what you can insert. If you want to insert a video, you can select video, and you can even choose a video and set it as the background so that when you are presenting, that video plays in the background. Okay, so it just helps to make your presentations a lot more engaging. And there we go. If you want to change the font, sorry, I went out of it now quickly. If you want to change the font or the color of the font, you can also do that. So if you select text and you choose a different font, okay. Right, and there I can change the font. I can also change the color. So if I don't want this pink color, I can choose a different color. I can also say change all, then it changes everywhere where I had pink text, it will change it to this orange text. Okay. Again, if I want to change the font throughout the entire presentation, I select change all, and anything that was written in that font, you will see now has changed to my updated font. Okay. Sometimes you'll notice like it does a really good job with including different elements, but then the text is small. So all you need to do then is go and delete some of the elements, select all the text, and then you can just increase it by dragging your cursor over the purple dot in the corner here, dragging it, and it will increase the size, and then you can drag it into place. Alternatively, you can also use the increase font size button at the top. Okay, so sometimes it gets that, it sometimes makes the writing too small, but then that's a quick fix that you can do as a teacher. Again, you can also go and add in more examples, remove examples. And remember the change that we made where I added in 3 times 15? It's included that, and it's told me no extra zeros needed. So we can see that even when you are prompting it in the AI, it applies those changes into your presentation. So this is going to really save teachers a lot of time. Instead of spending, I don't know, hour, 2 hours creating all of this, Canva AI creates it in seconds for you. So we now have a lesson plan. We have a presentation. Let's go and see now how we can create a worksheet. So again, I'm going to use the prompt that I've created. I'm going to send you the prompt also in the chat. Yes, I love the comments in the chats. Definitely, these presentations are a lot more engaging. For me, I'm a very visual person. So if my teacher's presentation looked like this, I think I would be more engaged, compared to if it was just writing, no color. For example, if you compare this slide with this slide, I think many of our students would prefer the colors and the images. It just keeps them engaged. Okay, so let's go back to our worksheets. So we need to go back to our home screen. So you can click home until you get back to your dashboard. And when you're on your dashboard, we're going to go back to our Canva AI. So we select more, we select Canva AI again. And now we need to deselect design because we're not going to be designing. We're just going to be creating a worksheet, which we will use our document feature. Just to give you an idea, under create student activities, this is where you would create, for example, your fill in the blanks that we did yesterday, your drag and drop words, that would be under student activities. Then under design, this is where you can even design your social media posts. So if there's anyone here that is in the school's marketing team, if you select social media, you can actually create a post. You don't need to use a template. You can design it how you visualize it. Then also, okay, we've done presentations, any marketing assets. You can even create your cards and your invitations and even a logo. So if you need your own logo, you can create a logo within Canva. Images you can create as well. Yesterday, I showed you how you can create an image through the elements, but you can also use Canva AI to create them. And then the docs we've been through. And then we've got our coding, which we will work with just now. And then you can even create video clips as well. So let's go and create our worksheet. So I'm going to paste in my prompt. I'm going to send, I have sent the prompt to you in the chat. Great. So as you can see, just to talk you through this prompt, again, I've instructed it exactly what I want. I want a worksheet. I've told it how I want the worksheet laid out. I've told it that it needs different sections. I've told it what I want under each section. And then I've also said that it should create a separate answer sheet with step-by-step outcomes for each section. And then I'm going to choose doc and I'm going to send it. So the hard work for me as a teacher is basically creating the prompt. But once you know what you want, then that becomes a lot easier. Okay, then in a few seconds, it's generating this for me. I have a worksheet. Okay, there is where my students can write the date and their name. There is section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4, 5, 6, 7, as well as my answer sheet. Again, if I want to make changes, I can go and type in any changes I want made here, where it says ask me anything. But if I'm happy with it, I just select use Canva editor. Okay, and there's my worksheet. Now this worksheet may look a little boring. So as a teacher now, you can go and add in different elements. You can select elements. You can go and have a look for math. Let's do math, and we're going to do we're going to have a look at graphics. So you'll select graphics, and yeah, you can see there's lots of different graphics that you can include into your worksheet. Something that's really cool, and this is just something nice to know. If you have, for example, an image like this and an image like this, and you want them to look the same, then you will go to the image that you want the other image to look like, and you'll click on the three dots, and it's not giving me the option here. Let's see if it's in the, see if it's like this. No, it's in the presentation. Sometimes when you want things to work, it doesn't work. Okay, I'm going to insert the two images here. Let me just make the background white so it's easy for you to see. Okay, I'm going to click on the picture and say copy style, copy art style. And then I'm going to go to the picture that I wanted to look, to copy the style to, and I'll just paste it. And now it will use, the Canva AI will now copy that style to my other image. So this is great if you've got a little bit of OCD like me, and I want all my images to look similar to one another, or like they belong to each other, then this helps. So there we go. I could copy the style. Now, it didn't work in the document, so it might be something that just works in the presentation. Then all you can do is copy that image, delete it from the document and paste it. Okay, so just a nice feature that you can also use when creating your worksheets, your presentations, if you want everything to look similar and organized and consistent. And then it also has the memo at the bottom. So if I was now to want to create this worksheet now for my students, I would then go back to my home screen. I would go to my worksheet and I would select these three dots and I would say make a copy. Once I've created a copy, it will say copy of subject at the bottom. You can then say worksheet and then name it in a way that makes sense to you. So for example, term 1, week 1. And then for this version of the worksheet, then you can go and remove all the answers because you wouldn't want to assign that or print that for your students. So all you need to do in that case is then scroll down to the bottom and then remove the answer sheet by highlighting everything. Highlighting it and deleting it. And then the learners won't have access to the answers. But it doesn't allow me to move the graphic. Yeah, so that's the only problem with the documents. In the chat, thank you very much for that. It does put your images in these like blocks, and it is difficult to move them around. You'll see even I'm struggling. What you can do, and this is just something that I've figured out and a work around this, is instead of opening up a document, or now once I've got my document, I copy everything and I go to my home page and I create a flyer. So you'll look for flyer, and I choose a portrait A4. And now the flyer will allow you to reposition anything that you need to. So now, for example, I'll go and copy the text. Let me just show you how to do this. So I've copied the text. I would go to my flyer and paste it. And then there, didn't paste. Copy. Okay, then you just need to fix the alignment and the sizing. You might need to then just add a page and duplicate your text so that it goes onto another page. But if you have a look then, if I copy this image, for example, and I paste it onto the flyer then, I will then be able to position it anywhere I want. So that's just a workaround what I've found. Sometimes when it's difficult to creating the worksheet in your doc, you can use a flyer and it helps. It works just as well. I hope that was helpful. Okay, so now we've created our lesson plan. We've got our presentation. We have our worksheet. And now we're going to create a fun game. So I'm going to copy my prompt. Okay, yeah, is my prompt for my game. I'm going to paste it in the chat for if you want to adapt it and use it as well. And again, I'm going to go to my Canva AI. So I go back to my home page, my dashboard. I select the three dots and I choose Canva AI. And I deselect my doc. And now I type in my prompt. So here you will see I have chosen an interactive game. And for grade 7s, because I'm following this theme. And there is my requirement from my CAPS curriculum. I've told it I want different levels. And now I am going to also add that I want the game to start with a section where my learners input their name. I also want a data sheet which is detailed. I want to see the learners' names and which questions they get right and which questions they get wrong. Okay, so now this will be will then allow me to see who in my class actually completed their work, who played the game, what they get right, what they get wrong. And now I'm going to select code. And I'm going to submit it. And now I'll let the coding do the work, and it's going to create this game for me. I'd love to hear what you think so far. You can type in the chat, or you're welcome to interact and unmute yourself. I would love to hear, what do you think so far about using Canva AI? Do you think it's going to help you save time when doing your prep, when creating all these resources? Don't be shy. I see some thumbs up. Thank you very much for the reactions. So I will also send you a copy of the presentation. So if you attended yesterday's session, you should have received an email this morning with your sorry, let me just get it, with the registration where you could claim your certificate. If not, I'm going to send it in the chat now. But you should have also received an email, and I did attach the presentation from yesterday. So I'll do the same thing today. I will send you an email and I'll attach the presentation, so then you'll have access to all the prompts. Yeah, I just want to make sure this is the right certificate I'm sending you. Okay, perfect. All right, so please, the form I'm sending now in the chat is yesterday's registration. So for those of you that did not receive the email, there is the form. Okay, so as you can see, it's created the game for me now. You will notice that it allows me to now input my name. It allows me to launch the mission. And because I've created my game with different levels, now my learners can move through these different levels. Okay. It allows me to go question 1. It asks me a mental math question, and it is correct. It tells me I'm correct. When I choose something that's wrong, it will tell me that I'm wrong, and it will give me the correct answer, and so forth. It is attached to a data sheet. If we open up the data sheet, let's see if it listened to me and if it did create the data sheet in a way that I can see exactly what questions they get right and wrong. Okay, there we go. So now it gives me the learner's name, the level, and it tells me what was the correct answer. Did I get it correct? Did I get it incorrect? If I'm happy with this game, then I publish it. Okay, I'm just going to publish it like that. And then all you need to do is copy the URL, copy, and send it to your students. So I'm going to send it in the chat for you, and then you can open it up on your side and you can play with the game. Okay. Then while you're busy opening up the game and playing it on your side, I'm going to send you the certificate for today's session. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much for that feedback, Julie. I have sent the link in the chat now for the registration form for today's session. And we will also send it again later this afternoon or tomorrow morning. And I will include the recording, I will include the presentation as well as the link for if you are unable to get your certificate within this session now. Okay, are you playing the game? I would love some feedback. Is it working on your side? I see there's a very important question in the chat. Yes, the CPTD points will be loaded automatically. So when you fill in the form, it asks you for your SACE number. Then that is collected and then we submit it to SACE. So you don't need to do it manually. Just please keep an eye out for it. If within a month it's not reflecting, just send us an email, but it should reflect automatically. Okay, I see some say that the game is fun, it's working. Lovely. Okay, so we've done quite a bit with maths today. And naturally, I'm an English teacher and it's my comfort zone. So I always bounce back to English. So it was fun to interact with a different subject. And yesterday, I also asked some of you to send some suggestions for games. I'm going to create a game for the language teachers, and I'm going to show you how this works. So when I taught my grade sixes, especially, and we had to do creative writing, they hated going through the writing process. And it was very difficult for me to motivate them throughout the writing process. But then we started coding games with Canva, and it changed that in my classroom to a point where every week they were like, Ma'am, are we doing a writing piece? Just because I had gamified the experience for them. So all I did was I created a prompt where I told it to act, and this is just an example, it's not the prompt that I used, but it's the same idea. So I've told it to act as a grade 9 English home language teacher. I've told it that it must create a game where my learners can follow the writing process. I've told it to call the game the story challenge. I've told it what it needs to include, and so forth. I'm not going to read through the entire prompt. I'm going to send it to you in the chat so that you can have a look at how I've laid it out. I did use the richer framework, so you'll notice that I have, even at the bottom, told it that I need it to be in British English, and it needs to be aligned with the CAPS document. Right, then I'm going to select coding and I'm going to submit it, and let's see what Canva AI comes up with. The nice thing about Canva AI, and if you've been completing or creating games as I have been, using the same prompts I've sent you in the chat, you'll notice the games are different. So even if I was to open up another Canva AI and submit the exact same prompt, the game would be slightly different. The experience might be the same, but the layout and the look and the examples would be different. So just keep that in mind as well. Every time you create or you code, it does give you a different output. Lucky, you're welcome to send us an email. If you missed any of the training sessions, just send us an email and we can always pop the recordings to you. Absolutely, Julie. It definitely will. What's great about the game, I don't know if this will do it, but if you code it and you tell it to even give the learners hints and give them examples, then it really does help, especially the weaker learners that sometimes just don't have an idea to write on, or when it says setting, they sit there for 15 minutes thinking, where do they want their setting to be? But with the hints and the prompting questions, it just helps them follow that process and get to their conclusion or their setting a lot quicker. Right, it's generating the code. This is where, as a teacher, you can go make your cup of coffee. Yes, yes, Lucky, you will. Just send, you can just send me an email. I'm going to put my email address in the chat for you as well, so that if you do need anything, you're welcome to send me an email. Hey, it's still coding. Anyone have any questions or anything they want to say with regards to Canva? If you have an idea of a game and you want me to try it live in this lesson, or in this session, you're welcome to send it to me in the chat. We can see if we can't create a game for you. Okay, so here is my story challenge. It even has it laid out like a website. There's planning, drafting, publishing, and then you can click on start the challenge. Did you notice with this prompt, I did not say to it, include a place for the learners to type their name and attach it to a data sheet. So this game does not have that. I can go and ask it again, and it's going to redesign the entire game for me. So let's just go and see what does this game look like before we redesign everything. Okay, start the challenge. Choose your prompt. Select a story prompt to begin your challenge or spin for a random one. Oh, that's fun. So now the learners can read through or they can spin for a random one. Right, and then it helps them with their brainstorming. So it will tell the learners write down as many ideas as possible related to your prompt. Use a mind map, a bullet list, or spider diagram. Think who, what, where, when, why, how. Jot down your feelings, images, sounds, smells connected to the prompt. And then it even has points that they can um, calculate for themselves to see how many points they get. If they write 10 ideas, they get 5 points. There's a bonus challenge. Include at least 3 sensory details in your brainstorm for 2 bonus points. Then there's a teacher prompt. Think about your 5 senses. What would your character see, hear, feel? Now, this is, as teachers, when we're teaching this material, these are things we say to the students, right? We say, include your sensory words. Think about who, what, where, when. But sometimes they don't hear what we are saying. And this is great because it's there, it's in a game form, and they get excited. They want to then complete this game. I'm going to publish it just like this. There are certain things that I would change if this was being created for my class. Definitely would attach it to a data sheet, and definitely would include a place for the learners to write their name. But just to give you an idea of what it feels like, I'm going to send it to you in the chat, and you are able to open it up and play around with it and see what it's like on your side. You will notice you can even open it up on your mobile device or even on a laptop or computer. Sane, please can I ask that you send me an email for gamified activity? How can Okay, very good question. Lucky, we actually are currently conducting case studies. So we are trying to get access to that information through case studies with different teachers and schools. So if there are any schools here that are present, that you currently are a Canva champion in your school, you love using Canva, or schools that have signed up, we would love to engage with you. Lucky's got a very good question. How can Canva measure whether its tools genuinely improve educational outcomes rather than just classroom presentation quality? So absolutely, that is something that we are busy in the process with doing. So if you want to be involved in a case study, drop me an email. We'll get you involved with the case studies. Okay. Then yesterday there was a request for a game, which I thought was a lovely idea, for EMS for market days. So I'm going to go and create a game that the grade sevens can use when they are planning their market day. So we're going to select the three little dots. We're going to go to Canva AI, and we're going to go and paste in this prompt, select code, and we're going to submit the code. All right, and I think I should say that we're doing a lot of games, but as teachers, you can use Canva coding for other things. You don't have to use it for games in your as a diary. You can create an online diary. Um, you can use it. Sorry, I think I lagged out there. You can use it to create a shopping list, to plan your meals for the week. Canva AI can be used for so many other in so many other ways. It doesn't always have to be a game for the classroom. And to come back to your question, Lucky, we did do well, not me personally, but there was a team at Canva that actually did a research project where they had a look at brain activity. And we spoke about this yesterday, but they found out that when learners and people in general are engaging with materials that are more creative, our brain activity increases compared to when we are working with dull materials. So there was that study conducted as well. Okay, so let's see, what does it do? What can this game look like? No, Cindy, actually, there is and I do want to. We did a session a couple of weeks ago where we actually had a teacher that teaches at a school that caters for learners with autism, and she showed us how we can actually use Canva AI to create materials for learners with autism. All you would then need to do is make sure the fonts and the colors are appropriate for them. Well, that's absolutely lovely suggestion, Lucky. We definitely can sit and arrange something like that. It would be great. So the certificate for yesterday As today's date, well, so if you log in or click the link, it will always have that day's date. So don't worry about the date. As long as you've got the two certificates, you should be good. And that that they are different. Teacher Essentials and AI in the Classroom. Okay, let's have a look. Another thing that is good to mention is that you do have a limit on your AI credits. So just keep that in mind. When you are coding quite a bit, it does eat a lot of your credits. I see there's a question, can only teachers get a certificate? No, you're welcome to. The certificate is a certificate of attendance. Just if where it says SACE number, if you're not a teacher, you can put in zeros, and then that just won't get sent to SACE. But the certificate is a certificate of attendance, so anyone can get that certificate. While this coding is running, I'm going to open up a different Canva account that I have. Okay, oh, there it's finishing. Okay, so here is Market Day Tycoon, grade 7 EMS caps aligned, describes what is Market Day. It has the caps learning outcomes. It has the rules of the game. It has different business ideas to choose from. And then it says ready to start and let's go. And now there's different stages. So you've got 8 minutes. And you get 20 points, and each team brainstorms and chooses their business idea. They must explain why it will succeed. All right, so they click on it, and there's more instructions. You start the timer, and then it will start the timer. You can see it there in the background. And as soon as the team is complete with this task, they say complete, and it gives them their points. That's really cool. Then they go on to stage 2. They select stage 2. They read the instructions, design your business brand, create a name, logo, slogan that will attract customers. They need to then draw their logo, their slogan, their colors. Again, they start their timer when they start working on it. And when they're done, they say mark it complete. And it gives them the points. That's really cool. Yeah, sometimes I'm blown away by what you can create. I'm going to publish this and I'm going to send it to you in the chat. I see someone's asked for the prompt as well. I will send it to you, no problem. Okay, there is the prompt. There we go. So I want to show you that even with your Canva AI, with the coding, you can create. So I'm going to show you something that was created for with a class of learners that had autism in mind. So what was created, they went to document first, and they said create a short story um, of a bunny on an adventure. Okay, obviously the prompt can be a lot better, but for time, I'm going to just um, make it short, and then you can also see the difference in the outputs when your prompt is not that great. So I'm going to submit this, and Canva AI is going to come up with a story. Okay, let's see. Seems very slow. Just gonna close some tabs here. I'm gonna just turn my camera off a bit. Hopefully that helps. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, it's created the story for me. Now all I need to do is copy the story, right? And go back to my Canva AI. Once you have the story created, you go back to your Canva AI. Okay, and then now we're going to use the story to create a game. So there's the story, and now you can say, create a comprehension game with 3 different difficulty levels. For my class, for my class. Okay. And then go to your coding, and you can submit this with coding. Now, what this does is it will create a comprehension, but it will have it for different levels. So your learners in your class that maybe are struggling, or if there is a learner that's got autism that really struggles, you can let them then do the lower level, and then your other learners, they do the middle level, and then your learners that you want to challenge, you let them do the higher level. And this just helps you creating one game, but there's differentiation within this game. Okay, Audrey, thanks. Let me see. Maybe I copied the wrong link. Okay, please use this link for today's register. Okay, now the Canva AI has come back to me because it's going to ask, or it says I'm going to create a reading comprehension game with 3 difficulty levels. Okay, so there we go. There's my comprehension quest, the Brave Bunny's Adventure, easy, medium, and hard. And then you can tell your learners at what level they should play the game. Okay, I want to show you something that's really nice we're going to just come a bit away from the games because I think you get the idea of how the games work and how to create a game. If you do create a game, please email me the link. I would love to see what you create and come up with. But I wanted to show you an example of just a matric dance invitation. So sometimes you want to create something within Canva that's not necessarily a worksheet or a presentation, but uh, 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 this is an invitation. But this can apply to your presentation and it can apply to your worksheet. I'm just going to use this invitation to demonstrate to you. Now you'll notice that this Canva that I have open has Canva AI 2.0 because it's sitting in the top left-hand corner there. Now, if you don't have it, please don't stress. Not everyone has access to it yet. You'll see my Canva that I was using just now does not have it. It will be rolled out, but I do want to show this to you so that when you do get access to it, it's a really, really cool feature. I'm just going to make a copy of this because I don't want to mess with the original. But let's say, for example, I've created this and I'm just not feeling this design. I feel like I could actually do better, but maybe I'm just not feeling creative today. So all you can do is you go to Canva AI and you say, redesign this page. And then you can even specify how do you want it to redesign? Do you want it with a fresh modern look while keeping the same content? Yes, and I want it to look, I want it to have an African pattern. Okay, and then you submit it to Canva AI. Now, what Canva AI is going to do, it's going to basically take all the information that's on this design and redesign it for me. And it's just getting everything ready. So this is what I love about Canva AI 2.0. It sits within the design dashboard. So when you are designing your worksheets, your presentation, it can literally help with any of it. You'll notice that this is including my brand kit. That's why it's pulled through some of my logos and it's using my brand colors. It's inserted a brand and my logo there. Okay, so if you do have your school's brand kit, It will even include your branding. I'm going to say, yeah, so I can say to it, make this more colorful or more exciting, and it will do that for me. But at the moment, I've reached my plan's monthly AI limit. So unfortunately, I can't show you more and the power of it. But if you have Canva AI 2.0, please play around with it. It's an amazing, amazing tool. And I know yesterday and today we've gone through quite a bit of the tools and the functions of how Canva AI and Canva can be used within your classroom. And it might be a bit overwhelming, but the only way you really get to know and see the strength of this tool is by playing around with it. There is also the design tool. So if you select more, sorry, the design school, if you select more and you go to design school, I did show you this yesterday, but for those that are attending today for the first time, this is the design school, and there are different courses that you do get certificates for. You will notice they're not really long courses. Some of them are 1 hour, 2 hours. Some of them are very short, like these shorter ones, you don't get a certificate for them. You'll see it doesn't say certified here at the bottom, whereas this one says shareable certificate. And you can then go and complete these courses. You upload the certificates on LinkedIn. But what's great is that it actually helps you to upskill yourself and learn the different tools within Canva. So you'll see there's one here that says AI skills for students, which is a great course for you to do as a teacher. Work smarter with AI, meet the visual suite, Canva presentations, how to scale content with AI. There are these other designers and creators that also create videos, like how to launch a LinkedIn ad within Canva. So something that might not be related for school, but as teachers, nothing stops us from upskilling ourselves, right? So if we go to certified courses, you will be able to see all the different courses that are designed for teachers. So under skill, you can select lesson planning. Under Visual Suite, you can choose the different, if you want to learn Canva coding, for example, or Canva Sheets or Canva video. And then you can also choose different features. There's also cheat sheets. So on the left-hand panel, you will see there's cheat sheets. And there you can go and download. These are just sheets that you can work through. That's not a video. So create an activity with AI. If I select this cheat sheet, it will give me some instructions that I can just read through when I'm creating an activity with AI. So you'll see here, it says create an activity with AI, and it speaks of the Learn Grid. And it shows you how you can create these different activities like we did yesterday with the drag and drop, the fill in the blanks. So this is just a step-by-step guide that can also help you. So you've got quite a bit of information even within Canva that helps you to upskill yourself with the design tool. There's also a blog and events that Canva from time to time has different events that you can attend. The blog also has some case studies from other countries. So that is nice if you would like to read and find out how other countries are using Canva. What is the AI limit amount? So to find out if you are near your cap or how much AI credits you still have left, you can go to your initial in the bottom left-hand corner. You select settings, and then you select billing. And when you're in billing, you'll be able to scroll down and you'll be able to see when your AI resets and how much of your credits have you used. So it doesn't give you an amount, it gives you a percentage. So you'll see, for example, the Canva AI I was using today, we coded quite a few games. I think we coded about 4. And then we've also done some other things with coding, and I used this yesterday, and I've only used 20%. So it's not that bad. I hope that helps. Any other questions with regards to Canva? Alrighty. Then after this session, I'm going to submit or send you an email. I will include the recording. I'll include the link for the certificate as well as a link for the presentation. Something that we touched on yesterday, which I would just like to go through in a bit more detail in this session as well, is the different magic tools that we get. Okay, so I just want to go back to the presentation. You'll notice that here is my different magic tools. These tools all sit under elements. And under elements, you have your shapes, your graphics, your photos, your videos, your 3D shapes, your forms, animations, audio. You can even create your own audio within Canva, frames, charts, etc. Now, when you insert a photo, so let's go to our photos and we just insert this photo of a classroom. If I select this image and I select edit, I have access then to all these magic tools. Now, one of my favorites out of all these tools is Magic Layers. So we've all had that one poster that we've created in another AI that we can't edit. So to make that easy for us, Canva has created a layer tool. So you would copy and paste it here into Canva, and then you would select edit and you would select Magic Layers. Now what this does is it goes and it takes the solid image and it creates different elements and layers within this image. And then I will be able to edit it. I'll be able to change the fonts. I'll be able to delete an image. I'll be able to add an image to this poster. Yeah, so there we go. You see it's changed it. It has slightly changed my font, but now I am able to go in and edit this poster. So let's say, for example, there was a spelling error. I could have just deleted it or edited it by just double clicking and editing any of the text. If I did not like this image, I could delete it and I could go to my elements and I could look for people. If I was teaching in a school that did cater for learners with autism and I want more realistic images, not cartoon styles, then I could go and just replace them with photos. So I could go and look for an image of people, insert this, resize it by putting my cursor on the purple dot, clicking and making it smaller. I'm just zooming in here and then dragging it and putting it into position. Okay, then we go places. If I wanted maybe a park, I search for park and I can find a picture of a park and again resize it, maybe crop it a little and then drag it into position. Okay, things, let's say for example, they've got their books, let's do books. Okay, there's an image of some books. Again, I just make it smaller and drag it into position. And this is fun. It becomes fun when you start creating all these posters and then you look for an idea. So there it says courage. Let's do courage. Let's say, for example, let's try let's say a boy showing courage. Okay, and there we can have a superhero. Might be a bit too abstract. So then we can just generate an image and see what does the AI generate for us. Oh, that's a nice one. So let's crop this, make it smaller. We can crop it. And then we just drag it back into position. So there we go. I've been able to edit this poster. I've got a question about the music. Are we able to use music to accompany this activity for a learner that has autism? Absolutely. You can go to elements. You would just go to your music, your audio. Under audio, you can even generate a voiceover. So let's say, for example, you want to create a video for your class and you want to speak, you can even create a voiceover. You can generate your own music. So let's say, for example, you want calm music with birds chirping. Then you can generate this and it will generate the music for you. Or alternatively, you can use one of these already created music pieces within Canva. So now we can just click on it. I don't know if, I'm going to just quickly stop sharing and share with sound. Go. You should all see the presentation. I'm going to click the sound. There we go. Can you hear? You can put a thumbs up if you can hear. So then you can just click on it and it will add it to your presentation. So you'll see it's added it there to the bottom. Now you can have this in your entire presentation, or you can attach it just to one slide by then dragging and making it shorter. But if you wanted it to be across all your slides, then you would just need to drag it. If it's too short, you do have options here at the top. You have options to snip it, fade it, beat sync, enhance voice. And Sometimes you even have options that will give you to loop it, or alternatively, what I sometimes do is I will just copy it and paste it and drag them next to one another and just cut the ending and the introduction and kind of match it there so that it like flows into one another. Okay. The link for the register has been sent. I'm going to send it again. Okay, I'm sending the link to the register again. All right. Any other questions? Anyone else want to ask anything about Canva? We have a few minutes left. Okay, again, we do have our teachers community that you are welcome to join on Facebook. There we go. You can even hear the sound now. Let me remove that. So we do have our teachers community on Facebook. You're welcome to join. And yeah, we will continue to post on our Facebook community. It would be lovely to see you engage on the community. If you create a really lovely resource and you want to share it with us, please do. That is our safe spaces. Educators that we can share and encourage and help each other in that community. Simpiwe, thank you so much for putting up your hand. I'm going to allow your mic, and then you can just unmute yourself on your side.
Hi, Patrina, man. I just want to first say thank you for all these informative sessions. And, you're really arming us, in this new technology age. This is really amazing, If I can just maybe share some, I don't know what to call it. Today we received a scope for an exam from a district, but they just referred to week 1, week 2, week 3, this question and that session. I mean, like, our learners don't know that. And I mean, like, not all teachers will necessarily go back to the ATP to check what work was done there. And I literally gave prompts to Canva regarding all those weeks, and it was able to give me a comprehensive scope, also with notes for the learners, even with the test that they can use to prepare for the exam. So it's really amazing, I must say. Thank you so much. Then what I wanted to ask is there a way that maybe you can create like a survival guideline for us to say maybe a document that says if you want to create a slide like this, you press elements and all that, just those prompts that we can have so that we can always refer back to.
Okay, I will take it to the team. I definitely will take it back to the team and see what we can do. However, there is that design school with the cheat sheets. So in the meantime, if we don't get to create it in time for you, you can always go to your design school. And then on the side, there is cheat sheets. And then you can always look up for one, like say, for example, presentation. And have a look. Canva tips presentations, how to use Magic Design for presentations. So here's a whole lot of cheat sheets that can also be very helpful for you as something in the interim. Right, but thank you very much for that feedback. Thank you very much, Simpiwe. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Patricia.
Okay, well, life really made easy. Absolutely. I asked a little earlier about audio recordings for poetry. Sorry, Julie, I missed your comment. You asked a little earlier about audio recordings for poetry. If you could just please explain, or if you, audio recording of someone reading a poem. Yes, you can. So if let's say, for example, and this is also another great thing, what we tested once, instead of letting our learners come in class to do a speech, we got them to create a presentation and record themselves within Canva. So all you need to do is you go to uploads and you say record yourself. And then you can choose a talking head. So that is where you present, and then your face is in the bottom left-hand corner in a circle. Or you can record your desktop. All right. So yeah, there's different ways about doing it. You can get them to record a talking head where then maybe the poem would be on the screen and then they can read the poem or present the poem, however you set up the activity. But it definitely can be done. And then once they finish recording, they save that recording and then they can send it to you. All right, I'm going to stay behind and also answer these last few questions in the chat, but I am respectful of everyone's time and it is 4:30. So if you need to go, thank you very much for being with us. I hope we get to see you again in the future at another training event. You also have our email addresses. Keep an eye out on our social media, and it will be lovely to be with you guys again soon in another training. Have a wonderful afternoon and have a lovely evening. Bye, everyone. Okay, so these questions, lovely question. If you are a student teacher, how can the certificate help in the future? I'm still going to my SACE. Lovely question, Solo. So yes, you won't get the SACE points now, but imagine if you are a student teacher, you're completing all these activities, so you're gaining certificates, you're putting them on your LinkedIn, and then one day when you're called into an interview, and you speaking to the principal, you can say, not only did I complete my teaching degree, but I have all these certificates. And it definitely would tell the principal quite a bit about you, that you are studious, you go the extra mile. So definitely as a student teacher, I would encourage you to do as many of them as possible. Is it possible to get this presentation? Absolutely. I will be sending it to you via email. Lovely. Thank you very much for the feedback, Caitlin. Awesome, Julie. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy your evening. Bye.